I'm tired. I'm tired.
Stop wasting him!
Hey guys, it's Leah. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about Aggretsuko and a lot of what I think are glaring issues with the series. If you like anime and all that fun stuff, make sure you follow me on my socials because I'm be posting anime related content there. And also you can follow me on Twitch and join our streams. We talk about anime all the time. And in my Discord, we have an anime club. So definitely check those out. But let's get into it. I want to preface this video by saying, like, I'm a fan of Aggretsuko. Like, obviously. So if you're coming here to, like, defend the series and tell me how good it is, like, sis, I'm aware. I like the show a lot. And I think that's why I want to critique it so badly, because all of my critiques are coming from a place of love, right? Like, I love the show. I love the characters. I have like such an immense appreciation for the show. I think it's so fun, but I see a lot of problems with it. And so I want to talk about those problems today and where I think the show fails to reach its potential. So obviously I really like the show. I think the concept and the idea is really original and really appealing. I think it's so cool to have the idea. If you don't know the show, it's about an office worker who deals with all her frustrations at work by going to a karaoke bar at the end of the day and screaming her heart out with some heavy metal. I think that's so dope. I think it's so cool. She's just a cute little red panda. I love it. I think it's awesome. It's cute. It's funny. It's adult. And I really like it. I think the characters are really likable. Like, I love Feneko. I love Haida, which we'll get into. I love Gori. I love Washimi. I think all the characters are so interesting. It's fun to see Sanrio designs with like adult dialogue. I think it's awesome. And I think it's just a fun gimmick. I think the show is really fun. However, I think there are really glaring issues with the way that the show fails to make the points that it tries to throughout a season usually. And it just seems to reset all the character progress. It never really feels like there's any real character progression in the series, and I'll go into why that is. A spoiler warning: if you have not watched Aggretsuko seasons 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to be discussing all of them, and there's definitely going to be some major spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet, go do that. I know I'm talking about the problems with it, but I promise you'll probably have a really good time. So let's jump into the lack of character development throughout this series, which is one of the most frustrating aspects of the series for me. I want to talk about two specific characters right now. I want to start off by talking about Retsuko and Haida, because what is going on? I'm going to just talk about Retsuko first, all right? Retsuko has this journey every season where she stands up to someone and you're like, yeah, go Retsuko. Like, she's killing it. She finally understands that she does not have to sit down and be walked all over by people. But then she goes right back to being walked all over. And then, like, we just have to repeat that same like thing over and over again every season. There's so many times like throughout seasons where she figures out what she wants like midway through the season, and you're like, oh cool, like she knows what she wants, and then she just stops wanting it, and like that's the end of the season. And I understand that people's like thought processes change and people begin to want different things. That's fine. But with Aggretsuko, it just seems like Retsuko suddenly doesn't want things anymore just because it's convenient to start a new season with freedom, right? Because then the writers don't have to think about how are we going to fit this new development into the next season. They don't have to do that. I think one of the best examples is season 3 recently, which is one of the seasons that has like the most problematic stuff in it, I think, where she decides that she does want to be an idol. Like, that's what she wants to do. There's this comic done by Batshaped on Twitter that I think perfectly sums up exactly what I was thinking, where it's like Haida wants her to come back to work and Tone wants her to quit the group, and she tells both of them she's not going to do that because she can make her own decisions. And then at the end she does both those things. It's like, what is going on? Like, what is the message we're sending? Because every season it feels like there's this like really profound message about female empowerment and standing up for what you believe in and doing what you want for yourself. But then Retsuko just goes back to doing it. And I think it would have been fine for like the first season, but like after 3 seasons, this is tiring. Like I'm tired. Like give me something different, please. I'm begging. This is also the case with Haida's love for Retsuko. I love in quotations. Love for Retsuko. So Haida in the beginning really wants to date Retsuko. He clearly has a crush on her. He gets rejected in the Christmas episode, which is between the first and the second season. And he begins to accept that like rejection. He's still obviously jealous, but he accepts it a little bit more, I feel like, in the second season. Like, and then all of this sudden in like the third season, like there's just like shift in his character where like he knows Retsuko better than anyone. And I think that Haida's always had like a sense of knowing her more than he actually does. But in the third season, it just went really extreme for me. And I'm going to talk more about this later because I'm going to delve into Haida a little bit more. But basically, there's just been no development with either of these characters. Like, you think that there's going to be some sort of development, which is a theme with this show. You think that there's going to be some sort of development, and then the show just resets it. And I'm going to talk about why that doesn't work. I also feel the same way with friendships. Haida and Feneko are a really, really great example of a friendship that does not develop whatsoever. And honestly, it made me really not like Retsuko because it just felt like Retsuko's only friends with the two of them when it's convenient for her. And that always really bothered me. They're clearly way more invested in her life than she is in either of their lives. I don't know anything about Feneko outside of work, and we just learned that Haida plays bass guitar. 3 seasons and they don't know Ed. She never goes out with them. She never hangs out with them. And like, if that's gonna be how they are, like I just want them to stop pretending that they're like best friends when Retsuko needs friends, but then all of a sudden like she knows nothing about them. I just think it's really, really unrealistic. I don't think anyone at work would care about you that much if you didn't care about them. I really like Washimi and Gori, but I also think that they start to fall apart in the 3rd season. They became great friends with Retsuko in season 1. I loved seeing that dynamic and 2 powerful women telling Retsuko to go after what she wants, and also that there doesn't have to be this weird gap in like between them just because they're at different levels at work, that they can all be friends. I think they're really cool. I especially love Washimi. And I think season 2, it was okay. Their argument thing was kind of weird for me. It kind of felt like just like a set piece to make them kind of drift apart a little bit, but I was fine with it. And them coming back together to like help Retsuko. But season 3, they barely exist. And the only time that they ever like are in season 3 really is when Retsuko's struggling with debt and she doesn't want to tell Gori because Gori's doing her own thing and is also struggling with money. And so that puts a rift in Gori and Washimi's relationship again, but there's also not enough discussion. I felt like this was just a setup to get Gori and Haida to stalk Retsuko to figure out what's going on, so Haida wasn't doing it alone. I don't know. I just felt like it was a really weird setup. I felt like season 3 in general just didn't really know what it was doing. I feel like there were things that just happened for the sake of them happening, which, trust me, I understand is something that happens in TV shows, but like, it still has to flow. And it just felt like it didn't work. Hear ye, hear ye. I would like to defend Haida. If you don't know this,
I am obsessed with Haida.
I think he's the best character in the show, and I'm sick of them doing my boy so dirty. I stan Haida. I don't care what anyone says, and I'm gonna defend him because I've seen a lot of discourse online coming for his neck. I can't say I completely disagree, but I'm gonna talk about why I still like Haida. Haida's friend zoned, but like I said, he's not even her friend. One of the goals of Haida's character seems to be to make him like the guy next door, the best friend that's always been in love with her. But I think he's a failed attempt at a guy best friend because they're not even friends. So that cute and quirky dynamic of like a best friend having a crush on the other doesn't work because they're not even friends. Like he doesn't know anything about her. That never develops. They never get to know each other. Beyond that, like nothing happens. Well, he seems to know a lot more about her, I guess, but that's because she only talks about herself. It's fine. I'm not coming for Retsuko. I am a little bit, but it's more about the writing at this point. I don't think it's necessarily her character. I know the character's influenced by writing, but I just think the characters have potential that the bad writing for the series hinders. Okay. I'm going to show another comic by Bat-Shaped on Twitter. She has a whole thread. You guys should really check it out. I'll link it down below of these comics with criticisms of the series, and I completely agree with most of them. Every season it's like, I don't really know her. We don't really know her. you don't know me at all. And it's like, okay, like, can we stop repeating the same thing over and over again? Like, we get it. He doesn't know her. I feel like we learned that lesson in the first season. I don't need to learn it again. Do I really have to wait 4 seasons to see any development in their relationship? And the bad writing makes Haida seem hella creepy. Like, what's supposed to be endearing and caring for Retsuko comes off as weird and just creepy. So Haida accepts the rejection, the initial rejection from Retsuko, and he remains jealous behind the scenes. We would all do that. If we had a big crush on someone for apparently 5 years, was revealed in season 3 he's liked her for that long, which is like, okay. And once it feels like he can move on, we're introduced to a new character. I thought the direction they were gonna go is he goes with her and then Retsuko becomes jealous. It would have been cliche, but it would have been better than what they did. So once there's an opportunity for this man to move on and like live the life that he should live, he suddenly goes crazy for Retsuko. It feels out of nowhere. I'm tired. He's such a good character, and
Stop wasting him!
he also expects her to get over an attempted murder like way too quickly. I saw this meme on Reddit, and this is how I feel. Like, I'm once again asking you to fall in love with me after a traumatic situation. Can we stop doing that? Like, I don't understand where this is coming from, because anytime Haida sees her upset at work, he seems really caring and like he really wants to help. But then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he's like forcing her to get over traumatic events to fall in love with him. Like, I just feel like it just doesn't feel in character for me. It doesn't. It just doesn't. This is how I feel. The show fails to establish him having a crush on her without going to the extreme, because they're constantly having to elevate his side of the story and his like for her, or his love for her, I guess, without her reciprocating any of it. There's no escalation on Retsuko's end, right? So they're not here. It forces him to go above and beyond because she's never showing any interest. There's not even an inkling of her liking him. And mind you, this is going on over 3 seasons. If this was just season 1, like the progression would be like this. But it's 3 seasons now. He has to go above and beyond because there has to be something interesting going on in the B plot. Like, that's really all it is. It's just he has to be doing something interesting. He's a character a lot of people like, so they had to give him more screen time for the B plot. And so they decided the only thing that they can do is continue to escalate the situation, and that just makes him look like a dick and looks creepy and weird, and it just was really disappointing to me, and it just makes him less likable. And I love him. I want to play this clip from the Talkcast Pod show that has Ben Diskin, who is the actor for Haida in the English dub, discussing Haida's character and his initial thoughts.
When we were recording the song, I said to Patrick, I said, listen, I have a question for you. Are we supposed to just hate Haida now? Is that where the show is going? Like, is he supposed to be like a bad guy, like this douchebag, incel, awful person who we're supposed to hate?
I highly recommend checking out the rest of the podcast if you want to listen to more of Ben's discussion on Haida. I think he does a really, really good job actually justifying Haida's actions in the 3rd season and the way that the story is being told. And I guess not even justifying Haida's actions, but talking about why Haida's acting this way and how it tells us more about him and Retsuko in the process. I think it's really good. However, I think initial impressions are important. I myself am a screenwriter. I study film in school.
Blah, 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 I'm a film student.
You know the deal. But I personally think that when I write, initial impressions are extremely important, especially from my actors who are playing the characters. If an actor thinks, hey, I think this is kind of out of character for me, it's something I really, really consider, because if they think it's out of character, there's a good chance it might be, and that I'm just doing something that's either convenient for the plot or because I think it should happen. So I think this initial reaction of like an incel Haida coming from the voice actor for the English dub of Haida is really telling, and to me explains a lot. Like, if this is the initial impression, it's not fans being crazy and wanting him and Retsuko to get together too fast. It's just the common consensus that he's not really characterized to be likable in the 3rd season. And the idea of him being like, oh, so we're just supposed to hate Haida now? To me, I completely agreed with that initial thought. And though he goes on to explain it a little bit more, and like I said, I'll link the full thing down below, I can't help but think about how that first impression is going to be the impression that the audience has too. It's so dissatisfying as an audience member and a fan of the show to be watching something and be so excited about the development of a character, only to know it's going to reset at the end. And after this happening, literally 3 times, 3 seasons, 10, 30 episodes. It's just like, I'm over it. I want her to grow. I want Retsuko to finally be able to stand up for herself. I want Haida to approach Retsuko in a meaningful way. I want them to at least become friends. I want Retsuko to start talking to Feneko and Haida like you would normal friends and stop being so selfish, because right now the lack of character progression makes me dislike the characters because it's really frustrating. Overall, I think Aggretsuko is a really, really great idea for a series. I think it's a great concept with great character ideas, but they just fall flat because of a lack of effort being put into the writing. I think if the writers spent a little more time thinking about how they could make the progression of these characters more interesting instead of trying to reset them, that it would just be so much more satisfying as a fan, and I think a lot of fans would be a lot less frustrated than they are right now with the series. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know if there's any other anime that you'd like me to analyze or talk about, or any other problems, bad anime. I don't know. Let me know down below if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about. I definitely want to do some more anime related content on this channel because it's something that really, really interests me. You can follow me on Twitch if you want to discuss any of this more. Join in live. I live stream right now Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join my Discord right down below. We have an anime club in there where we discuss new anime every month. So make sure you join that. It's super fun, and we can all have more in-depth discussions in there and respond to each other. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is where I post all my sort of cosplays. I don't know what's going on there. A lot of weeb shit. And then Twitter is where I give my opinions on said weeb shit. So make sure you guys follow me on there. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. Thanks for watching this week's video, guys. I'm gonna sit here while you can click on one of these videos over here. Just do it. They're fun. They're good. You're gonna like them. You're gonna like them. You're gonna give them a thumbs up too. Am I right? Am I right? Nah, but like, for real, like, watch one of these. I'll wait. I'm waiting. I ain't got a day. I gotta go.